Welcome back everyone. I hope you enjoyed the first video session, which is about future continuous. So in this video, we will continue our session, but with a different subject. The subject that we are going to study for this session is the writing right 3, as you can see on the slideshow here. We will move on to Unit 4. However, the lesson in Unit 4, as you can see the title, are the same as the Unit 3. However, there will be a lot of new information for you to study from the Unit 4, which is about infinitive and gerunds. The lesson is on page 38 of your Writing Right 3 book. If you have the book with you, I strongly recommend you to go through those informations, and if you have any questions, you should write it down and keep your questions at the end of the sessions. Now everyone, let's move on to our content of the video lesson today. So in this video, for the second sessions, there are 3 main contents that we will talk together. So the first one, we will learn 3 basic concepts of the grammar point. These are very simple, but some of you might not know. Some of you might be confusing with the 3 concepts. So it is just the clarifications. The second point, we will learn infinitive and gerund as subject. So it's something new from the previous lesson. Moreover, it's very strange for this last point, which is infinitive and gerund as subject complement. You might not able to catch up with the last lesson without looking at the first point, which is the 3 basic concepts. So what are those 3 basic concepts here? So in this, we will look at the subject. We will answer what is subject and what can be a subject of the sentence. Moreover, we will look at object. What is object? What can be the object of the sentence? And what is complement? And what are the differences between object and complements? So without any further ado, let's look at the subject. It is very simple. If you look at the definition here, the subject is a simple English sentence such as John runs, John is a teacher, or John was ran over by a car. The subject is the person or thing about whom the statement is made or talked about. Mainly, what is the important thing in the sentence we call subject. So for the example here, John ran. Which one is important? Which one does the action? John, right? So John here is the subject. John is a teacher. Which one is the important one in the sentence that we talk about? John, right? So John in this situation is the subject of the sentence. So the subject of the sentence, if you look at the grammatical rule, you can use noun as the subject here. For example, let's say ruler is long. So ruler is the subject, which means it is very important. We can also use noun phrase, which means 2 more words. The blue ruler is long. So here, the blue ruler, all of these are called noun phrase. For gerund, which is the verb ing, and in this situation, it becomes a noun because it functions as the subject, the sentence. So using ruler is simple. So using is the subject of the sentence, and it is the gerund. We can also use to infinitive as the subject of the sentence as well. To learn English, to learn English is not easy. So to learn English, which is the to infinitive phrase, and we use this as the subject of our sentence. And if you look at this picture, which one is important, the cat or the ball? You don't know, right? But if you look at the sentence here, the cat plays the ball. You get the idea of what is important in the sentence. The cat, right? Because the cat is the subject of the sentence. Right, so let's moving on to another point, which is object. So object is a noun or pronoun that exists in a sentence and is directed by the main verb of that sentence. In other words, a noun or noun phrase on which the action is taking place is known as object of English grammar. So if you look at the example here, she like soup. She is the subject, right? Like is the main verb. And what is after the main verb here? Soup is the object. Why? Because it's directed by the main verb of that sentence. She like. So she like what? We don't know. So what she like is the object of the sentence. In a simple term, object refer to the thing that affect by the subject, or it affects by the action verb. Let's say he read book. He read book. So the book affected by the main verb, which is read, and the action performed by the subject. And object, we can use noun as an object, as the example he play balls, or we can use noun phrase as the object as well. He play, okay, play with S, everyone. Okay, sorry. Okay, he played the yellow ball. Gerund, he likes playing yellow ball. So he likes playing yellow ball. Playing here is the object of the verb like. We can also use to infinitive as the object of the sentence, as what we learned from unit 3. He wants, okay, with S. Why I forget S? Sorry. He wants to play with his friends. So want to do something. So to do something is the object of the sentence. Last but not least, it is the confusing one. Okay, here another example. Here are some more about the complements. Okay, it might be a new terms here. So what is complement? Complements refer to a word or word groups that complete meaning of a sentence or a part of a sentence. So it gives more meanings, but mostly it's followed by the linking verb, which is the to be. Okay. So here, if you look at the object and the complement, though sometimes it is in the same position of the sentence, but its functions or its role in the sentence are different. So if it is a subject, if it is an object, which means it affected by the subject. However, if it is a complement, it is a part of clause following the verb that add additional information about the subject or the object of the sentence. So to get a clear picture of this point, here are some of the examples. So my best activity for Sunday. So my best activity for Sunday is subject, right? Is subject. Is the linking verb. Sleeping is also a noun here. But if you look at this position, you might say sleeping is the object. But in this case, sleeping is not the object. It is the complement. Why it is the complement? Because it completes the meaning of the subject. My best activity for Sunday. So you don't know it. So you need to add more information. So this information is the complement in order to give more information to the subject. Here, the word sleeping is not affected by the verb. Okay? Let's move on to the other example. His job is driving a bus. So his job is driving a bus. So here, can you see any action? Can you see the word driving as the object or complement? Sure, it is a complement because there is no action affected the word driving. On the other hand, he drive a bus. So a bus here is the object clearly because it affected by the action verb, which means drive. What he drive? He drive a bus, which means a bus affected by the action verb, which means drive. So here a bus is the object. Okay, and driving a bus in this example is a complement. Last one, can you tell whether this one is a complement or an object? Exploring the city. So what I love most is the subject. Sure, is the main verb, and exploring the city is the complements. Very good. So complements, it gives the meaning, more meanings to the subject. So everyone, I hope that three basic concepts here you are clear and be able to distinguish between object and complements. Now let's move on to our lesson, which is the infinitive and gerund as subject. So look at some of the example. To learn a foreign language is difficult. As you can see here, to learn a foreign language is the to infinitive phrase, and in this situation it functions as the subject. Learning a foreign language is difficult. So learning a foreign language, it functions as the subject of the sentence. Let's moving on to another example, infinitive and gerund as the subject. So watching movie on Netflix. So watching movie on Netflix is the subject, and this one is the gerund phrase. To get Netflix membership is easy. So to get Netflix membership, it is to infinitive phrase and it functions as the subject. Let's moving on to the last point, which is infinitive and gerund as subject complement. So again, complement refer to the word or word groups that add more information to subject or object. And in this example here, we call it subject complement, which means these words give more meaning to the subject. Another easy way to remember is when the subject and the object are the same, we call it complements. Or you can look at the linking word. If you see the subject, the verb to be, it generally refers to the complements that follow the be verb. So if you look at the example here, my favorite hobby is to watch movie. So to watch movie and favorite hobby, they are the same, but they just give the meanings to each other. And it links together by the linking word, which is to be. Another example, my favorite hobby is watching movie. So you can use to infinitive or gerund. My advice is to stay at home. So to stay at home is my advice. It is the same sentence, right? You can invert the complements to become the subjects. The decision was to extend the deadline. So to extend the deadline is called the subject complement, and you can reverse the order. To extend the deadline was the decision, the same. So that is why we call it the subject complement. It is not the object, okay? Good. Everyone, so it is a little bit new and I find it a little bit difficult for some of you, but I believe that if you have some point you need more clarifications, you can ask your teacher because your teacher can give a very good explanations to all of you. Moreover, you can find other additional material on the internet. So the book that I recommend to all of you from the first session, which is the grammar in use, it is very good resource for your learnings grammar. So everyone, that's it for today's lesson, and I hope you enjoyed these two video lessons for today. So everyone, goodbye. See you in the next video tomorrow.